When you finally accept that no one is coming to rescue you, something inside you shifts. The fear of being overlooked softens, the weight of needing approval loosens, and a strange sense of freedom begins to rise. Because the truth is this: most people are too occupied with their own battles to obsess over your failures, your insecurities, or your dreams. And instead of being a sad realization, it becomes the moment you reclaim your power. You stop waiting to be understood. You stop hoping someone will validate your effort. You stop shrinking just to be accepted. And for the first time, you stand in your own life without asking for permission. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote that people will always be consumed by their own minds, their own worries, which means your life, your growth, your transformation has always belonged to you. Today, we explore why embracing this truth doesn't harden your heart, it liberates it. And once you see it, everything changes. Truth 1: when you stop expecting rescue, you finally begin to rise. There is a moment in every person's life when they realize the harsh truth. No one is coming to save them. Not a partner, not a parent, not a friend, not society, not luck, not fate. And that moment hurts, because it shatters the illusion that someone out there is responsible for fixing your life. But beneath that pain lies the greatest turning point you will ever experience. Because once you stop expecting rescue, you stop waiting. And when you stop waiting, you start rising. Most people spend years trapped in a quiet hope that someone will eventually see their struggle and step in to lift them out of it. They hope someone will give them clarity, push them forward, explain their worth, or heal their wounds. And when that help never comes, they collapse into frustration, bitterness, and self-doubt. But the Stoics saw this dynamic clearly. Epictetus taught that the moment you hand your well-being to someone else, you hand them your freedom. And the moment you reclaim responsibility, you reclaim your strength. Think back to the times you felt stuck, overwhelmed, or lost. Chances are, you weren't just fighting the situation. You were fighting the disappointment that nobody noticed, nobody intervened, nobody cared enough to pull you out. But that expectation is a trap. Not because people are cruel, but because everyone is fighting battles you cannot see. They're carrying their own fears, insecurities, regrets, and hopes. They don't ignore you out of malice. They're simply trying to survive themselves. And ironically, accepting this truth brings relief. You stop reading silence as rejection. You stop interpreting lack of help as lack of love. You stop imagining that you were abandoned. Instead, you begin to understand this journey has always been yours. When you take ownership, everything sharpens. You start making choices instead of excuses. You stop waiting for the right moment because you understand the moment is created by action, not circumstance. You stop blaming the world for its absence because you now see your life as something you build, not something you receive. This is the birth of inner authority, the shift from dependence to direction. It doesn't mean you push people away. It means you stop expecting them to carry a weight that was never theirs. It doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become capable. The Stoics believed deeply that a person becomes unbreakable not when they are surrounded by support, but when they become the source of their own stability. So you ask yourself a new question. If no one is coming to fix my life, what can I do today to begin? And suddenly the path appears. Maybe small at first, a single disciplined habit, a decision you've postponed, a boundary you enforce, a truth you finally face. But with each step, you rise a little higher, relying less on hope and more on strength, because when you stop expecting rescue, you become your own rescuer, and nothing is more powerful than a person who has stopped waiting and started living. Truth 2: people don't think about your fears as much as you think they do. One of the biggest illusions that keeps you paralyzed is the belief that everyone is watching you, that people are studying your mistakes, judging your flaws, analyzing your failures, whispering about your choices. It feels like every step you take is under a spotlight, and every fear you carry is on public display. But the truth is far more liberating. People are not thinking about you nearly as much as your mind insists they are. Most of what you fear, embarrassing yourself, being judged, being misunderstood, is a projection of your own inner narrative. Your mind magnifies what it finds threatening. It turns a small risk into catastrophic danger. It convinces you that a single misstep will stain your reputation forever. But while you're replaying your worries in an endless loop, everyone else is doing the same thing about themselves. They're rehearsing their own fears, their own insecurities, their own anxieties. They're not focused on you. They're focused on surviving their own inner storms. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply when he wrote that we suffer more in imagination than reality. And isn't that exactly what happens? You suffer more from what you think people are thinking than from anything they actually said or did. The fear of judgment becomes heavier than judgment itself. The fear of being seen becomes heavier than simply being human. Think about all the times you held back, the moments you didn't speak, didn't try, didn't ask, didn't show up fully because you believed someone would think less of you. You robbed yourself of opportunities because you imagined an audience that wasn't even paying attention. And even when someone does judge you, their opinion fades within minutes because people return quickly to what matters most to them, their own life. Here is the freedom hidden inside this truth. Once you realize no one is obsessing over your fears, you stop obsessing over them too. You stop shrinking in front of imaginary critics. You stop holding your breath waiting for approval. You stop resisting the life you want because of thoughts other people aren't even having. Instead, you start leaning forward. You take small risks. You try things before you feel ready. You speak even when your voice shakes. You step into discomfort because you're no longer fighting ghosts. You're living in reality. The worst-case scenarios that kept you trapped lose their power because now you know that even if something goes wrong, people forget, move on, or don't care in the first place. And the beautiful part? Once you stop fixating on how others might see you, you gain energy to focus on who you want to become. The world expands, your courage grows, your choices become less about fear and more about purpose. That's the Stoic transformation, shifting from worrying how you appear to committing to what you are building. So ask yourself, how many dreams have you delayed because of eyes that weren't even looking? How many chances have you avoided because of judgments that never existed? Let this truth free you. People are not thinking about your fears, and that means you're free to live without them. Truth 3. No one owes you. Recognition. And that realization makes you limitless. One of the most painful truths to accept is that no one is obligated to acknowledge your effort, your loyalty, your hard work, or your goodness. You can give years of dedication, pour your heart into something, show up consistently, sacrifice quietly, and still receive nothing in return. No applause, no praise, no validation, no thank you. And at first, this feels unfair. It feels personal. It feels like the world is blind to everything you've carried. But here is the deeper truth. Recognition was never a guarantee. And when you stop expecting it, you become unstoppable. Most people tie their worth to how others respond. If someone notices their effort, they feel valuable. If no one notices, they feel invisible. This traps them in a cycle of emotional dependence. They perform for approval rather than for purpose. But the Stoics refused to live this way. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, not for readers, not for applause, not for legacy, but for his own integrity. His greatness came from doing what was right, even when no one was watching. That is where true power lies. Think about your own life. How many times have you felt discouraged simply because someone didn't acknowledge what you did for them? How many times have you questioned your path because others didn't clap? We've all been there. We've all felt the sting of being overlooked. But when recognition becomes a requirement, your happiness becomes hostage to the reactions of others. They frown, you fall. They ignore, you collapse. They approve, you rise. This is not freedom. It is emotional captivity. The moment you accept that no one owes you recognition, everything changes. You stop performing for the crowd and start performing for your character. You stop chasing validation and start chasing excellence. You stop tying your worth to opinions and start anchoring it in actions. The world's silence no longer discourages you because you're no longer seeking permission to matter. And here is a powerful shift. When you no longer expect recognition, gratitude becomes a gift rather than a requirement. If someone appreciates you, you smile. If they don't, you continue anyway, unshaken. You're no longer controlled by applause or absence. You become self-directed, self-defined, self-powered. This is where greatness grows. In the quiet, in the unseen effort, in the uncelebrated discipline, in the patience of doing good without needing to be witnessed. Recognition is sweet, but it is not fuel. Purpose is fuel. Integrity is fuel. Inner strength is fuel. The Stoic path invites you to ask a different question, not who is noticing me, but who am I becoming when no one sees? That question leads to depth, not performance, to authenticity, not approval, to mastery, not applause. So take a breath and let the world be silent. Let it overlook you. Let it forget your effort. Because in that silence, you are freed from needing anything outside yourself to continue. And a person who no longer depends on recognition becomes impossible to stop. Truth 4. No one cares about your failures as much as you think. And that gives you permission to try again. Failure feels enormous when it happens to you. It feels loud, humiliating, unforgettable. Your mind convinces you that everyone is watching, replaying your mistakes, judging you, talking about how you fell short. But this is one of the biggest lies your fear tells you. The truth is far simpler, far quieter, and surprisingly comforting. No one is thinking about your failures nearly as much as you believe. People glance, they notice for a moment, and then their attention returns to the center of their own universe, themselves. This truth, once accepted, removes a massive weight from your shoulders. Most people fear failure, not because of the failure itself, but because of the imagined audience surrounding it. You picture people laughing, doubting, whispering, labeling you forever based on one bad attempt. But human memory is short, and human attention is scattered. Everyone is too overwhelmed with their own responsibilities, insecurities, debts, regrets, and dreams to hold on to your mistakes. While you lie awake replaying what went wrong, they've already moved on. And even if someone does remember, their judgment carries no real power unless you let it shape you. The Stoics understood this deeply. They believed that failure was not a stain but a teacher, that stumbling was part of the path, not proof you're unworthy of walking it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that life is a series of attempts and adjustments, not flawless victories. And Epictetus taught that an external event, including failure, cannot harm you unless your mind cooperates with it. Think about how differently your life would look if you weren't afraid of being seen failing. How many dreams have you postponed because you feared the wrong person might notice? How many opportunities have you ignored because you worried about appearing inexperienced or imperfect? How many chapters of your life never opened simply because you imagined an audience that wasn't even there? The moment you understand that no one is tracking your failures, you unlock an extraordinary freedom, the freedom to try again without shame, the freedom to grow publicly, the freedom to experiment, learn, fall, and rise without carrying the weight of imaginary critics. This truth also changes your relationship with yourself. Instead of treating every failure like a verdict, you begin treating it like information, feedback, not identity. You stop attaching your worth to outcomes and instead attach it to effort, resilience, and clarity. You start seeing each setback as part of the architecture of who you're becoming. And here's another quiet miracle. The more you fail, the less you fear failure. When you stop hiding, you stop shrinking. When you stop avoiding risks, you stop avoiding life. The world belongs to those willing to look imperfect while becoming extraordinary. So let this truth settle into your bones. No one cares about your failures the way you do. And that is not sad. It is liberating. It means you are free to fail boldly, recover quickly, and move forward relentlessly. It means you can stop carrying the imaginary eyes of others and start focusing on the real work of becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more courageous than you were yesterday. Truth. People care more about their own battles than your journey. And that realization makes you emotionally independent. One of the quiet heartbreaks of life is discovering that not everyone will have the capacity to walk with you through your struggles. You may pour your heart out, explain your challenges, share your exhaustion, and hope someone will understand the weight you carry. Sometimes they will, but most of the time they will listen briefly, nod politely, offer a sentence or two, and then turn back to the demanding world of their own problems. And this isn't cruelty, it's human nature. Everyone is fighting a war you cannot see. Most people wake up with a mind full of unfinished tasks, emotional bruises, financial worries, private disappointments, and silent fears. Their bandwidth is limited. Their attention is scattered. Their energy is consumed by trying to make sense of their own lives. When you understand this, you stop taking their disinterest personally. You stop interpreting it as rejection or lack of love. You begin to see it as a reflection of reality. People care more about surviving their own journey than analyzing yours. This truth is often painful at first, especially if you have a generous heart or a history of giving more than you receive. You may wonder why others don't invest in you the way you invest in them, why they don't remember what you said, why they don't show up with the same intensity. But emotional imbalance is not betrayal. It is simply the natural consequence of different capacities, different priorities, and different burdens. The Stoics warned against expecting the world to behave according to our wishes. They understood that disappointment comes from demanding what reality cannot give. Do not ask things to be as you wish, Epictetus wrote, but wish them to be as they are, and you will find peace. People have limits. People have seasons. People have chaos behind their calm face. And when you finally accept this, something powerful happens. You stop leaning so heavily on others. You stop depending on someone else's emotional availability to feel steady. You stop expecting anyone to constantly check on your dreams, your goals, your growth. Instead, you build an inner foundation strong enough to stand without being held. This is not about isolation. It's about emotional independence. When you understand that others are preoccupied with their own battles, your expectations reset. You begin to value the rare people who do show up. You stop resenting those who can't. You lean into self-responsibility. You start creating the support you need rather than waiting for it. You become both the student and the mentor of your own life. And here is the gift hidden inside this truth. The moment you stop expecting others to understand your journey, you gain clarity about what you want from it. You stop performing your story for the world. You start living it for yourself. You write your goals without needing applause. You take steps without needing approval. You heal wounds without needing sympathy. You rise because rising is your duty, not because someone is watching. So let this truth anchor you. People care more about their own battles, and that's exactly why you must learn to care for your own growth with unwavering dedication. When you no longer depend on others to carry your journey, you finally begin to walk it with strength. Truth. 6. People don't care what you intend. They care what you do. One of the most sobering truths you will ever accept is this: the world is not moved by your dreams, your plans, your promises, or your intentions. People judge you by your actions, by what you follow through on, by what you finish, by what you show, not what you imagine. And this realization, though uncomfortable, becomes one of the most empowering forces in your life. Because once you understand that intention means nothing without motion, you stop living in the fantasy of one day, and you begin living in the reality of today. Think about how often people say what they hope to do, what they want to build, who they hope to become. They talk about changing careers, starting a business, improving their health, fixing their relationships, healing their past. But the words stay words. Not because they are insincere, but because intention alone does not create transformation. Life is shaped by steps, not sentences. The Stoics understood this with brutal clarity. Marcus Aurelius warned himself not to waste time declaring ideals. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, stop describing the mountain, start climbing it. Stop imagining the path, start walking it. Stop telling others what you will someday do. Show them through repetition, discipline, and effort. Most people are far more attached to the identity of who they want to be than the work required to actually become that person. They think passion is enough, motivation is enough, planning is enough. But the world has seen enough passion without discipline, enough motivation without consistency, enough plans without execution. Nobody is impressed by intention. What impresses, what earns trust, respect, and credibility is action, especially repeated action. Think back to your own life. How many times did you promise yourself change only to stay in the same place? How many opportunities slipped through your fingers because you believed desire alone would carry you forward? How many moments of clarity dissolved into procrastination because the idea felt satisfying enough to replace the action? Here lies the turning point. When you finally accept that nobody cares what you meant to do, you begin to take responsibility for what you actually do. You stop explaining your potential and start demonstrating it. You stop telling stories about the future and start constructing it. You stop hoping for results and start earning them day by day. The moment intention transforms into action, everything shifts. Confidence grows because it is built from evidence. Self-respect rises because you keep your own promises. The gap between who you are and who you want to be begins to close. Not through talk, but through effort. You become someone others can rely on. More importantly, you become someone you can rely on. This truth is both a challenge and an invitation. A challenge because it forces you to confront the habits of delay, distraction, and dreaming without doing. But an invitation because it empowers you to take control of your life in the most tangible way possible, through disciplined action. So ask yourself, what is one thing you've talked about for years but never executed? What is one step you can take today, not tomorrow, not eventually, that proves you are done living in intention and ready to move forward? Because in the end, people care far less about your potential than your practice. Your intention is invisible, but your discipline is undeniable. And once you start acting like the person you hope to become, the world will begin responding to who you truly are. Truth 7. No one cares about your path more than you, and that truth sets you free. There comes a moment when you realize that the only person who will ever fully care about your dreams, your values, your healing, and your destiny is you. Not because people are heartless, but because no one else is living inside your mind. No one else carries your hopes when you wake up at 3 a.m. No one else feels the weight of your regrets or the fire of your ambitions. Your path is yours alone, and accepting this truth is not loneliness. It is liberation. For most of your life, you may have waited for someone to understand you deeply, to guide you, to walk beside you with equal passion, to cheer for your victories with the same intensity you crave. You may have waited for someone to believe in your vision more than you believed in it yourself. But waiting for someone else to care at the same level creates a silent suffering, a subtle disappointment that never goes away. You begin to feel unseen, unsupported, or misunderstood. But the reality is simple. No one else was designed to carry your purpose. The Stoics taught that the soul of each person is sovereign. Your judgment, your character, your choices, these belong to you. They are not meant to be fueled by applause or external support, but by inner conviction. When Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to stand upright, not be held upright, he was acknowledging this exact truth. Strength borrowed from others collapses. Strength built within yourself becomes unshakable. When you embrace the idea that no one cares about your path as much as you do, something remarkable happens. You stop outsourcing responsibility for your progress. You stop waiting for encouragement before taking the next step. You stop depending on praise to stay motivated. You stop needing witnesses to justify your effort. Instead, you become the architect, the builder, and the guardian of your own life. This shift creates emotional independence. You no longer crumble when people don't support you. You no longer take it personally when friends don't understand your goals. You no longer feel abandoned when others take different paths. You finally see that everyone is walking through their own maze of pain, ambition, pressure, and uncertainty. They are not neglecting you. They are simply consumed by their own chapters, just as you must be consumed by yours. And here is the beauty hidden inside this truth. When you stop needing people to care, you start caring in a healthier, stronger way. Your goals become clearer because they are no longer filtered through the desire for approval. Your discipline becomes steadier because it is rooted in your own integrity, not external validation. Your journey becomes lighter because you stop dragging the weight of unmet expectations. Most importantly, you begin to meet yourself, fully, honestly, courageously. You start listening to your inner voice, the one that has been drowned out by the noise of wanting to please others. You start choosing the life you actually want instead of the life you think others will respect. You start building in silence, growing in private, and blooming without needing applause. So let this truth empower you. No one will ever care about your path more than you. And that is exactly why you must show up for yourself with devotion, discipline, and determination. When you stop waiting for others to carry your purpose, you finally begin to carry it with strength. And once you take full ownership of your path, absolutely everything changes. When you finally accept that no one is coming to rescue you, no one is tracking your failures, no one is responsible for your growth, and no one cares about your path the way you do, something powerful awakens inside you. You stop waiting for support that may never come. You stop seeking validation that was never guaranteed. You stop shrinking under fears that existed only in your imagination, and you begin to rise with a quiet confidence born from self-reliance. These 7 truths aren't meant to harden you. They're meant to free you. Free you from expectations that drain you, from illusions that hold you back, and from emotional dependencies that weaken your spirit. The Stoics understood this. Once you release the weight of needing others to care, you gain the strength to care for your own life with clarity and courage. So take these truths with you. Apply one today. Stand upright, not held upright, and watch how everything begins to change.